Okay, I think it's safe to say I'm an idiot. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, you might not know, but a few months ago I bought this delightful AC Cobra replica from a reputable dealer down in Sheffield. Now, we realised straight away there's a bit of a problem with the car. It had a hesitation, so I decided what I was going to do is take it up to one of my brothers and best friends who is very good with working with carbs. Now, it's been here for a long time and people have been asking for an update on the video, and the reason it's been here for so long is because there's good news and bad news. The good news, he fixed it. The bad news, there's a catastrophic problem with that car. And when I say catastrophic, probably the worst news I could have had. So today we're going to go back in, have a word with Dan, find out exactly what the problem is, and I'm going to need some help from subscribers on this one because I am at a serious crossroads with this car as to what to do. Anyway, let's dive in, shall we? So this is the car in question, which you'll probably recognise. If you don't, have a look at the other videos. And this is the man in question who you might recognise if you don't see these videos. Dan, mate.
Rob.
Thank you for all your hard work. This has been a bit of a nightmare, to say the least.
It certainly has, yeah. It's been a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. We thought it was going to be simple.
Yeah, so obviously you left it with us to sort out the hesitation, which was very likely the pump jet and the pump jet mechanism, but we've ended up with it for quite some time.
Yes, free storage. Yeah, essentially I've been very busy, so it's worked for me.
Yeah. So we were on the right track with the pump jet sort of mechanism, and we've done a lot of playing about with that. We ordered we got some pump jets. We had a rebuild kit as well. We put a rebuild kit in the carb to make sure it was all fresh and stuff.
Yeah.
But we put a standard pump jet back in, and it's still hesitating. I only like to change one thing at a time. When you're trying to problem solve, totally. You do one thing at a time. So we just did a carb rebuild kit, put everything back to standard, and it still had the hesitation. Whether you were standing in here, sort of just
giving it a tickle,
stabbing the throttle, or whether you took it out on the road, you could tell in either case. So yeah, we got a bigger pump jet, and we've played about with the cam on the throttle linkage, and we were very much getting there with it. It definitely made an improvement. And we knew it was fueling because you could put the choke on, and if you put the choke on, it would rev. Even with the standard pump jet in, no problem. You could do it as hard as you wanted, but obviously it's no good driving around with the choke on. But that proves that it was an airflow / fueling issue. Okay. But in and amongst of all this, it'd do some random stuff like not be on all cylinders or various things. And
you said that when it first came in, didn't you? So it doesn't sound like sound. Yeah.
So when you try to fix one thing, but then that was more like some ignition thing. So we spoke to yourself and said, let's put new cap, leads, and plugs in it. So we went to do that, which should be, well, in this, with all being awkward to get to the plugs and stuff, about a couple of hours job. And I got all the way through them all and got to the last plug, which is this front one. Yeah. And I went to just wind it in by hand, and it just went in, didn't seem quite right, and started to tighten up. Way before bottoming out or anything like that. Yeah. So we took it back out, and it's like, why? Like, why is it? It's sort of cross-threading basically. So we got a camera down in there, and I think what's been going on, because we talked about the exhaust gases and it absolutely stank on that side. I think what's happened in the past is somebody has probably got a plug stuck in it. Yeah. Okay. And had to grind it out or wind it out. And if you look in the bore where the plug goes, somebody's been in with what looks like probably a die grinder with a milling cutter in it or something, and it's all gouged. And so they've obviously tried to get something's gone on there. Yeah,
I was thrilled with those photos when you sent them.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. Yeah. So yeah, obviously we spoke about it, didn't we? And basically decided that we'd repair it in place and just be very careful. We decided we'd have a go at just putting a tap down it and see if we could get it back to how it should be. Yeah. Which was like a 50-50 thing of where it's going to work or whether it's going to be head off, in my opinion. But we managed it, so we very carefully got a tap to go in square again. And cleaned it out, and then obviously we had a camera down and made sure that nothing had gone in the bore. The bores look mint, which is the good bonus.
News.
Yeah. So managed to repair it and get a plug to go back in square. So we thought, great, all right, back on track.
Fixed it?
Yeah. So literally, we've played about with pump jet, got it all mint, I had it in here, stabbing it, felt good. And then the next day, went to, the colleagues pulled it out there and it wasn't running on 8 cylinders. And then when I went out and I started it up, definitely wasn't on 8 and it started backfiring.
Yeah.
And then my colleague comes out and we stood around giving it a good coat of looking at. And like, why is it?
Yeah.
What's going on? It's popping and banging and doing all sorts of weird stuff, which again is ignition related. And then it started to make a mechanical noise very briefly, and both him and myself picked it up.
Yeah.
And then it stalled, and then it wouldn't restart. And then
So you broke it?
Really backfiring out of the exhaust.
Dan broke it. It's the long and short of it.
I'm just about to ring Rob, go around the block in it until we've done.
Yeah.
And now it won't even run and it's backfiring. Did some more investigation and basically we took the dizzy cap off.
Yes.
And when you crank it, you can actually see the rotor arm isn't consistent. It'll be spinning and it'll briefly stop and then it'll carry on spinning and it'll briefly stop and carry on. And basically that's it losing its timing, which would explain the backfiring out of the exhaust, then it'll backfire out of the inlet. And then on occasion it might try and start, which is obviously when it got to a particular point where it was prepared to fire. So we've had a camera down into the front casing. So your dizzy, this is your distributor that's currently out. We've got the dizzy gear here. And that is driven off the camshaft, and it's driven off a little gear on the end of the camshaft. And when we've had the camera down, the wear on that end gear is absolutely horrific.
So this is in the engine then?
Yeah, inside the front cover, and the teeth are like wafer thin. Again, I sent you a picture of it, didn't I?
Yeah.
It's obviously skipping a tooth. So basically, the repair would be front cover off, sump off, and then to get to the front of the camshaft, and I believe that gear is a bolt-on item, so
right, okay.
Replacing that. In theory, it shouldn't be that big a job, but obviously on something like this, getting the sump off, getting it to reseal and all that.
Yeah, and it has got a leak as well from, I think it's from the sump.
Yes,
from the previous MOTs.
It has been consistently dropping oil.
Yeah, quite. Which is funny because when I bought it from the trader, I said, has it leaked any oil when you've had it? And he said no, so it must have just started immediately after I bought it. Yeah, clearly. Wouldn't have been leaking on him.
It's not a bad one, but it is.
But it's there.
It's definitely there, yeah. So,
Crossroads.
It's... it was nearly there.
I appreciate your efforts, thank you. But it's...
I think, as I say, various things were tripping us up, obviously, when you're chasing one fault, but actually there's something in the background's been going on as well. And then finally that gear's properly let go now, and it's...
Well, I've been looking through the paperwork. It would appear back in 2018, somebody was trying to fix a hesitation on this car.
Really?
Yeah,
all right.
that long ago. Yeah. So
right.
I wonder if there's been something that's just been manifesting over age, and it has just unfortunately gone on you when you finally sorted this. The thing that's frustrating is obviously I owe you money, which is fine. I appreciate your work, thank you. But we're now at a point where I kind of don't know what to do. Do you keep shoveling money at this, try and get this right, but we could be into quite a bit of spend, especially because the exhaust manifold's still leaking, the sump's still leaking. If it'll reseal when you take it off and put it back on again is another question.
Yeah, that's the thing with old stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's had. I suppose it's what else you're going to uncover as well, if that's.
I can't see there being anything else. Dan, run out, haven't we? I've been looking at options because obviously we've talked about what the implications of getting involved in this might look like financially, which doesn't look scary initially as just the job that let's just fix that bit, but then the consequence of things that might go wrong during that process, which no one knows until it happens, it's kind of open-ended. So the options I've got are either we pull the trigger with you having a go on it, you starting the process and hoping for the best, or we try and get out of it as it is, and I'm probably going to blow some money, nature of the beast. Or potentially an engine.
A
new engine. Because the only gripe I had with this, other than all the issues that it's got, is it never really sounded full fat.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
it's a 3.9 V8, it's only ever going to be 180 horsepower, which it made, to be fair, on the dyno, and we're happy with. So I have been speaking to another guy who has given me a couple of ideas, engine-wise. What's your thoughts on what engine might suit this best? Because I'm a big believer if you're going to do it properly.
Yeah.
Hence the Subaru.
Yeah.
Just, go for it. Because I also think putting a proper engine in it, man maths, will make it a more valuable car when we come to sell it, or whatever the exit strategy is at that point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
What would you be doing?
Well, I'd be saying a Duratec, of course.
You are, yeah. No, but
obviously. Hassle-free. No, I'm joking.
Well, to be fair, I mean, jokes aside, because I've looked at bike engines, No. But then, have you seen one with a bike engine before?
No,
so it's kind of a little bit mad and nutty. Yeah. I looked at Jaguar V12 engines as an idea.
Okay, yeah.
Because I've never owned a V12.
Yeah.
And it's one way of doing it. Jokes aside, is there anything that you'd suggest?
I mean, it's got to be an American V8 on it, a proper one. We had one with an LS in it. Did about 420 brake, I think.
Did it?
Flipping animal, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, proper job, yeah.
Was that quick?
That was seriously quick, yeah.
Right, okay.
It's local as well, yeah. So, but it was just a lovely car, yeah. But that engine, yeah, was superb.
Just looking at the brakes, which is...
what's it got on it?
They don't...
Is it?
I don't know, but I can see the pad.
That's good.
Yeah. They look pretty woeful.
I think the Sierra one's probably...
Yeah. God. 'Cause that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. What else you need to upgrade, I suppose. Yeah.
Do you know what gearbox is in it? Do you... have you looked?
We think it's the Jaguar one.
You think it's the Jag one?
Yeah, Scott seemed to think so. Scott's a bit more up on the old V8s than I am. But
right, okay.
I think, but you can... So I'll digress slightly, but we did actually look down, because your gear stick angle is very strange, isn't it?
Yes.
Something's been done down there that's made it like that.
Right, okay.
But anyway,
what do you think's...
something's been clocked. You can see a hole's sort of lifted up. It's like they've done that with something. And you can see the hole that should be with this bolt here, and it's not. It's stuck out up here. And then they've probably refastened it somehow, but they've done it for a reason. I don't know what, but it's very definitely been clocked, which is why everything's
it's all over to the right-hand side.
So your gear lever's sticking
right.
But it's like they've done it on purpose, so...
Okay.
There might be a reason for it.
Because the gearbox is a pain in the and this is why I'm kind of thinking, I thought it might have been Sierra box in it.
It's definitely not a Sierra.
Is it not? Right, okay.
Well, I'm sure it's not a Sierra, but it don't look like it from this angle.
Okay, because it's the one thing I can't find a receipt for, is the gearbox. And with it being a Sierra chassis, you're kind of going, well, I wonder if it's still the Sierra box that was my man maths, but obviously not right. The prop shaft is a Ford prop shaft, or there's a receipt for one.
Right.
Whether it's this car or not, I don't know. I know you're not stupid enough to have bought this in the first place. But assuming...
Well, it depends what you paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. Assuming you were daft enough to have bought this and this was your problem, what would you be doing?
I would have to put proper V8 in it, I think.
Right.
It needs a proper V8, doesn't it?
Right,
in my opinion. Sorry, that sounds harsh.
Sorry
to all the Rover V8 guys out there, including one of my employees.
Shots fired.
Yeah, it's okay, isn't it? But it's not exactly.
It's not full fat, is it?
Exhilarating out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I've been around the block in it, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not got that proper hesitation aside.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Even when it's going, it's not.
Because I'm just wondering if we just go full hog with it, put a big fat V8 in it, which in turn will probably mean a different gearbox, logically.
Yeah, I don't know what that one would be good for.
Yeah, I don't. But they suggest a Toyota gearbox, apparently, to go onto like a Chevy V8.
Right.
Apparently, this is from speaking to this other bloke, guy called John. We'll be speaking to you soon. Definitely. And then at least you've got full fire breathing, proper Cobra.
Yeah.
And at least it's enjoyable and of value to someone.
Yeah.
So if we went down the repairing it route, what do you think the worst case scenario is cost-wise that you'd be charging retail? Because I know I get half price in here.
Yeah, of course,
Worth a shot.
It's difficult to say, but like I say, I don't think the job itself in theory would be too bad, but I think it's when you start uncovering other stuff and when the sump doesn't seal and the sump's got to come, all these little things with these old engines. So there's at least a day in it. There's no cross member, so the sump would drop, but I'm not sure that the exhaust might not sweep underneath, and you might struggle to get the sump off without taking the exhaust off. And if the exhaust's off, that's going to be a whole load of fun.
Yeah.
Getting to those studs there.
The other thing about this as well that annoys me, this car, is the oil filter. Is it the oil filter?
Yeah, it's
right,
hanging down, isn't it?
Yeah, because the other thing that annoys me about this is that it's sat bus high, I think. It should be lower, and that oil filter...
That's probably why, yeah.
Yeah, to get it how I want it, man maths in my way into a Chevy V80. Well, that would require relocating, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Logically.
Yeah.
Which is more spends.
Remote.
Could you quickly be into thousands, do you think, to get this right?
I think you're going to be over $1,000 by the time we're... Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Does it run and does it even run and drive anymore? No. Is it you've broken it that badly?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like I say, it'll try and start when the dizzy's in one point, but then it'll quickly lose timing and then backfires.
Right. Okay. Sound. So it's going to need a recovery.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Didn't even break it on the dyno.
No, that's the best way to do it as a rule. Oh dear. Right. What I'll do then is I'll look at my options. Can I have a couple more days free storage, please, while I sort out a plan? Is that all right? So, I'm sorry, but I will. I'll dive straight on it and we'll find a solution. I think what I'll do now is I'll head back to the office and have a look at some engine possibilities and then give John a ring.
Do some man maths.
Yeah, exactly. But, mate, again, appreciate your time.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, sorry, it's not a better outcome.
No, it's quite all right. But if you do want a good outcome, occasionally you do provide that as well.
Yeah, sometimes we do get
it. Sorted. So if you reach out and ask for Dan, if you're into this sort of stuff, he's amazing. It mentioned I sent you across and he does half price, don't you?
Yeah,
Just remember to double it first. Sorted. We'll see you back in the office. Okay, I think we can all agree that I've that one right up, haven't I? I've had better meetings, to say the least. I knew when I bought that car I was being stupid, but I didn't expect to have the problems that we're having. Anyway, such is life. And as a famous man once said on a podcast, of whom I can't remember and what I can't remember, the meaning of life is enjoying the passage of time. I thought it was quite powerful. So we've got a problem, but let's just try and enjoy the problem. So, things I need to bear in mind here is I am now a responsible adult, and I'm going to show you something here. This is Ralph, my son. My son is now 10 months old and is starting to appreciate who Daddy is. He now looks at me, he knows who I am, he's fascinated by my shoes for some reason, and he is starting to adore me. So when I'm making decisions about what I'm doing in this business moving forward, I need to make the right decisions for not only the business, but for my family. It's really important. And that is the sort of reason why you maybe wouldn't do something stupid like buy a 5.7 litre V8 and shove it in a car that you're already backwards on. However, I also look at this little boy here and I think, is he going to want to look back and go, my daddy was a or is he going to look back and go, my daddy's a legend? So, let's have a look at some V8s, shall we? Or V12s. Let's just dive onto my screen here. 5.7 Chevy V8 engines. I want you to know that even if this wasn't being filmed for content, I would still be doing this stupidly because it just seems like the right thing to do. And it'd be great to get your feedback in the comments below. Am I being absolutely stupid? I don't care if you think I am. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, don't care if you want to send me some abuse. I enjoy it. However, let me know if you think I'm actually being genius. Here we go. There's one here. Oh, 4.5 bags. There's nothing out. Oh, that's been fully rebuilt, isn't it? Look how shiny that is. 290 horsepower. That'll be punching one of those. And I know Dan talks about this one that came in that's 400 horsepower. I genuinely think this is too much. It wants to be drivable, sound amazing, and reliable. It doesn't want to be, I'm going to send you backwards through a brick wall. It just wants to be, whoop, bloody hell, bit of a moment. That's what I'm after here. And also, I have priced up an LS3 engine for it. Absolutely no chance. That's quite punchy at £4.5 grand, but it has had a full rebuild. What else have we got for AliExpress? For an engine, you can pick your cylinders. 6-cylinder. I don't even know what that is. No, Rob, I'm not that stupid. I am stupid. So here we go. There's another one here. 3,800 quid. Is that the right way? Yeah, 350 apparently is a small block. I do like the Americans. Some people think the Americans are a little bit in your face and all that sort of stuff. Genuinely, that's what I love about them. I think they're great people, the Americans. 3,800 quid, but it's going to cost you 700 quid to get it here. So again, it's 4.5 grand, isn't it? Okay. £1,300 for a Chevy 5.7 litre 350 V8 engine. Here we go, 1,200 quid. We might have found an engine there. Now the other one that I've been looking at is a Jaguar V12 engine for sale. I know Dan was suggesting it's got to be a V8, but a little part of me is thinking, have you ever seen a V12 one before? No. And imagine what that sounds like. In fact, what does a Jaguar V12 sound like? Go on. Give it the beans, son. Go on, nail it. Nail it. Okay, so the other option is the V12, which I'm fairly taken by. Again, £2 you're into a V12 engine. Now for fairness, the V12 does sound amazing. However, I think you need to hear the sound of one of these because they just sound absolutely amazing. So this is the sound of a cammed 5.7 litre V8 engine. Massive shout out to Exhaust Addicts, by the way, great page on YouTube. If you like your exhausts, here we go. Oh. 120 decibels. Oh. Now I think that would really suit the car. I love them both. Now, there is a guy that I've been speaking to, and I did allude to the fact I've been cheating on Dan in the background, speaking to a guy called John. Now, John owns a company in unfortunately, he's in Lancashire, but in times of crisis, you sometimes have to go over the border. We've all got crosses to bear. However, this guy seems to know what he's on about. So, yeah, look at this. So this guy's got this company called JC Autosports, and he saw the video that we did on the Cobra in the first place, and he reached out and was very, very helpful and said, look, anything you want, anything you need, I'll do it for free. Well, at least that's how I interpreted the email in Yorkshire, but I suspect in Lancashire it was written differently. A joke. He basically reached out and said, look, any help that you need, any guidance or whatever, more than happy to help out. And I've had a couple of conversations with John in the meantime, and this guy really, really knows his stuff. Some of his cars are absolutely insane. Let's have a quick look at this. They properly know what they're doing. So, battle plan is, I think an engine is the best solution because there are obviously a few issues with that Rover V8. For example, it doesn't start or run, and it's gonna, I know Dan's trying to be sort of fair there, and he has been really fair by saying, oh, you know, you could be over £1,000 or whatever. I've been here before with performance cars and mucking about with them, and whatever that price is, it isn't, because you inevitably find another problem. That Subaru that I built, there's always something else. So in my head, I'm thinking it'd be £2,000 to put that car right. I just think it will. Whereas I'm already into a V12 or a Chevy V8 for the £2,000. Now I appreciate there's a lot more stuff to just do than throwing an engine in there, but we've worked out that the gearbox that's in it is from a Jaguar, which I believe would marry with a Chevy V8, fine, and logically would marry with the V12 engine as well, so that kind of opens up the options, and it is a well-built gearbox. So obviously it needs adjusting because it's been rotated, Dan was saying, which explains why the gear isn't. Look, I just think this is the best solution. Legend. Yes, I agree, little Ralphie. So what we're going to do is give John a call, try and get this car booked in. Now, if we can get it straight over there, we will do. I know he's a busy guy because he's obviously does some incredible stuff. And I also need to have a proper chat with him and say, look, let's, you know, if we're going to do something here, it's all well and good at getting excited and going, it's going to be content, but we need to nail down some numbers because I need to know where we're going to be on this project because it can't get out of hand. However, as a businessman, stupid idea. As a petrol head, when's my next opportunity going to be to put a stupid engine in a stupid car? Because when you're buying and selling cars for a living, it's, you know, just bread and butter stuff, isn't it? You're just making a business work. So, I think we should pursue this dream. What's your thoughts? Put them in the comments below. Now, the other thing to bear in mind here as well is, we know we're starting off with something proper and something right because we did a vehicle score check on the car when we first bought it. There's a link in the description below, which essentially means that you can buy something with a little bit of confidence. So we know it's not been scrapped, we know it's not been an accident damage, we know it's not got finance on it, all that sort of stuff. So we use vehicle score whenever we're checking cars in here. And it gives you peace of mind, etc. So we know what we're starting off with is right because of vehicle score, and there's a link in the description below. Fantastic product, great sponsor of our channel, by the way. However, there's just a lot to get right outside of the fact that it is an okay car on paper. I think I'm making the right call. Either way, it's going to be excellent content. And if you've not already subscribed, please do, because I'm pretty sure I'm nailed on to go ahead with this. But what do you think? V12? V8? Do we go down the route of doing something stupid like potentially, can we put a bike engine in it? I'm all ears. What I'd love to have in it, genuinely, is a C20XC red top engine out of something like a Cavi. No, well, I'd about to say Cav Turbo, that'd be a let. But, you know, something like a red top would think would be really cool. But they're only 150 horsepower as standard. I think we need to be up there, mid to late 200s, to make this car sort of exciting. 2026 is meant to be our year, and it's going to be our year. And I know that this is massively off-piste and not what I should be doing. But I promise you, I don't care, I'm going to do it anyway. Let me know what your thoughts are. Am I being stupid? That's all. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.